It begins not with a border, but with a breath. A slow, tectonic inhalation that started millions of years ago, when the Earth itself was restless. This is the story of a collision, a drama written in stone and river and soil. It is the story of a subcontinent that was not always part of this landmass, but a lonely voyager on the prehistoric ocean, sailing north until it met the immovable wall of Asia. The impact was slow, catastrophic, beautiful. It crumpled the Earth's crust, throwing up the mightiest mountain range on our planet, the Himalayas. These are not just mountains, they are a fresh, young, still-growing scar on the face of the Earth, a permanent monument to that ancient, world-altering embrace. Their snow, a reservoir of frozen time, feeds everything. From those impossible heights, the story flows downward. The mountains are the great alchemists of this land. They catch the monsoon clouds, wringing them of their rain, and in turn, birth the arteries of a civilization, the Ganga, the Brahmaputra, the Indus. Watch the Ganga, especially. She begins as a frigid, pure trickle in a glacier named Gangotri. As she descends, she is fed by countless streams, gathering not just water, but meaning. By the time she reaches the plains at Haridwar, she is already a goddess, wide and powerful. She doesn't just flow, she nourishes. Her silt, deposited over millennia, created one of the most fertile, most densely populated agricultural plains on Earth. Every grain of rice in a field in Uttar Pradesh, every strand of sugarcane in Bihar, contains a molecule of Himalayan rock, pulverized and carried by her waters. The river is a giver of life, but also a relentless force of geography, dictating where cities rise, where roads go, and where, inevitably, people settle. To the south, the Earth remembers its older self. The Deccan Plateau is a vast, triangular tableland of ancient, volcanic rock. This is the stoic, weathered heart of the peninsula. If the Himalayas are the dramatic, young upstart, the Deccan is the wise, silent elder. Its geography is one of endurance. It is fringed by two mountain ranges, the Western and Eastern Ghats. The Western Ghats are a fortress of biodiversity, a lush, green wall that intercepts the rain-laden clouds from the Arabian Sea. On its windward side, the land drowns in green. In the rain shadow to its east, the land can be dry, demanding resilience. The geography here tells a story of microclimates. A few hours' drive can take you from the dripping, moss-covered rainforests of Silent Valley, where the air itself is green, to the sun-baked, boulder-strewn landscapes of Hampi, where history whispers from rocks sculpted by wind and time. The coasts are another tale entirely. The western coast, along the Arabian Sea, is a geography of abruptness. The Western Ghats plunge, often dramatically, towards the sea, creating a narrow strip of land. This is the Konkan and Malabar coast, a world of coconut palms, winding backwaters, and historic ports that once welcomed traders from across the world. The geography bred seafarers and merchants. In stark contrast, the eastern coast along the Bay of Bengal is gentler, wider, a gradual slope from the Eastern Ghats. It is a coast of deltas, of the Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna, the Kaveri. These rivers fan out like the veins of a leaf, creating rich, alluvial plains perfect for the great temple kingdoms of the south. The geography here enabled the flourishing of deep, agrarian cultures, protected by the mountains behind them and connected to Southeast Asia by the sea before them. And then there is the desert. The great Indian desert of Rajasthan, the Thar, is a lesson in stark beauty and extreme adaptation. It is a geography defined by absence of water, of dense vegetation. But it is not empty. It is a landscape of rolling sand dunes, hardy scrub, and resilient Keshari trees. The geography demanded innovation. Stepwells that descended deep into the earth to find water, houses with thick walls and tiny windows to keep the heat out, and a culture of vibrant colors perhaps as a defiance to the monochrome beige of the sand. The desert also created a natural barrier, shaping the flow of armies and the rise of fortified cities on trade routes. But this geographic story is not just about landforms, it is about the invisible lines drawn by climate. The supreme dictator of this story is the monsoon. It is not a season, it is an event, a character, a deity. The entire subcontinent tilts, waiting for it. By June, the heat on the plains becomes a physical presence. Then, the southwesterly winds, heavy with moisture from the Indian Ocean, make landfall in Kerala. The monsoon breaks. You can track its progress northward on the news like one would track an army's advance. It breathes life into parched earth, fills the rivers, decides the fate of harvests and economies. The geography dictates its path. The Western Ghats force it to rise and shed its load. The Himalayas block its escape, ensuring it waters the northern plains. When it fails, the land withers. When it is excessive, the same rivers that nourish become agents of devastating floods. Every aspect of life, from the farmer's sowing calendar to the poet's metaphor, is shaped by this annual atmospheric pilgrimage. This complex, violent, nurturing geography has written the human story upon it. It determined where the first cities of the Indus Valley civilization could flourish, on the banks of a mighty, now mostly vanished, river. It channeled invaders through the mountain passes of the northwest, like the Khyber. It protected the cultures of the deep south for centuries. It inspired the creation of unique architectural styles, houseboats in Kashmir to live on water, stilt houses in flood-prone Assam, cliffside dwellings in the mountainous northeast. The northeast itself is a geographic universe apart. Isolated by mountains, it is a crumpled zone of hills, valleys, and raging rivers like the Brahmaputra, which here is not a serene goddess but a wild, braided, turbulent force. This isolation has fostered an astounding mosaic of cultures and ecosystems, a world where valleys speak different languages and hills harbor unique species. To understand this place, one must read its geography like a living, breathing text. The story is in the silt of the Ganga, a record of eroded mountains. It is in the laterite rock of the Deccan, red with oxidized iron. It is in the salinity of the Rann of Kutch, a vast salt marsh that was once an arm of the sea. It is in the coral atolls of Lakshadweep, built by countless tiny organisms. It is a story of incredible diversity forced into coexistence by the very shape of the land. The desert knows the rainforest exists only in stories, and the mountain dweller knows the sea only as a concept, yet they are bound by the invisible threads of rivers that start as ice and end as surf. The final chapter of this geographic story is being written now, and it is one of tension. The same mountains that provide water are seeing their glaciers retreat. The rivers are strained by demands from a billion people. The coasts are eroding, and cities built on ancient floodplains are drowning. The geography, once a destiny, is now a challenge. The story continues, a relentless narrative written by the slow drift of continents, the pulse of the monsoon, and the flow of rivers, a story in which humans are no longer just characters shaped by the plot, but are desperately trying to rewrite it. The land remains, patient and immense, bearing witness to it all.